Chris, welcome to my channel, Lyme Freedom. What is Lyme Freedom? It's pretty self-explanatory. You have Lyme and then you're free from it. It's a pretty challenging thing for most people, and it was for me as well. But was able to get it done. Anyway, hi, my name's Chris, and welcome to my Lyme Freedom channel. And what this channel is all about is I had a Lyme journey, perhaps similar to yours, where I wasn't feeling good. I was sick, very sick, and nobody knew what was wrong with me. And there were so many things that people thought, oh, it's got to be this or that, so I went to a naturopathic clinic, and the first naturopath that I worked with, after his clinical and diagnostic work, said, you've got mono. So he put me on a protocol for mono, and it really, after 2 months, it didn't do anything for me. So my wife says, well, there's two naturopaths in the clinic, switch to the other one. And I did, and made an appointment, and it was going to be 3 weeks before I could get in to see him. So I was sitting in my chair, and when I was up, because I had to sleep 18 hours a day, so it didn't leave me a lot of time, but I just happened to be up, and I was sitting in my chair, and I heard this little voice say, Chris, go to your computer and type in the symptoms of Lyme disease, which I did. And so there was a website that I landed on, my search took me to, and it had 38 symptoms of Lyme disease, and I had every one of them. There was 2 that were missing. I wrote those in, and I went to see the second naturopath in the clinic, and I laid this on his desk in our first meeting, and he quizzed me a little bit and said, okay, I understand that you and your wife are avid outdoor people and hike, backpack, spend a lot of time in the woods, that kind of stuff. I go, yes. And he goes, probably been bit by ticks too. And I said, yes. And he goes, okay, well, let's just start our lab work around this. And it came back positive. And so he goes, okay. So he grabbed a big cardboard box, and he went into his pill room, which was 200 square foot of nothing but supplements, and started loading up this box. And I think by the time he got done, there was about $3,000 worth of supplements in this box. Then he wrote me out a protocol instruction sheet of what supplements to take at what time and how many, and it was enough. It was all the room I had for food was displaced by supplements, and they took away your appetite anyway. So, but anyway, I committed to just staying with the protocol, and because I wanted out of my Lyme disease hell so bad that if this is what it took, then I'm going to do it. And so for a couple months, every day, I just dutifully followed his protocol, and then we had a follow-up meeting, and when we were talking, I explained to him that I'm not getting any better. I'm actually getting worse, and I go, there's got to be a way to get rid of this stuff. And then he goes, Chris, well, I'm going to be honest with you, and he said, I can't get you over Lyme disease. And I went, what? And he goes, no, I can't do it. He goes, the best that we can hope for is that we manage this. And I went, okay, what does that look like? And I asked him, so what's that look like? And he said, well, it was, remember that box of supplements you walked out with? Every 6 to 9 months, another box. Then we're going to have to use some other therapies, such as antibiotics, and also in oral and IV. And then we're going to have to do some, vitamin C, IV, and all these other things said the best we can hope for is to manage it, and every 6 to 9 months we're going to have to manage it again. And I'm like, this is my life. I'm gonna feel like crap for 6 to 9 months. Then I'm gonna do this protocol, which will make me even worse for a while, and then I'll get up to the point where I feel less like crap. So I was not happy with that whole discussion. So I went home and decided to research the World Wide Web for some kind of effective treatment for Lyme disease. And I just kept exploring all these things and reading about these things like frequency machines, bee venom injections, hyperbaric dives, antibiotics, herbs, frequency machines, salt sea cures, all this amazing stuff. It was interesting to read about, but there was always something missing in the story. And it was the only thing I was looking for, which was the happy ending. I'm done with it. I did this, and now I'm free of this, right? I feel good now. It was never there. And so after a few weeks of one dead end after another, I was pretty discouraged. And I was sitting in my chair again, this one, and another one of those little intuitive voices talked to my ear and said, Chris, go to your computer and type in the homeopathic treatment of Lyme disease. Okay. So I went in there and I typed it in, and that search led me to this book, which is literally Homeopathic Treatment of Lyme Disease. And don't confuse this with a self-help manual. It's not going to do that for you. It's not going to get you over it. What this is homeopathic theory, why it works, how it works, but you can't use this to get yourself over it. The second half of the book, which is the part that was most interesting to me, there were the case histories of 20 different patients that became very, very sick, went to their German doctors, and where this book was originally written, and where Lyme disease is epidemic, by the way. So they would go to a German doctor, dreadfully ill, and get diagnosed, and diagnosis was Lyme disease. Well, in Germany, somewhere around 70% of all the prescriptions that are written for various things are homeopathic medicines. So they're very open to it, and very, very well versed in it. So the stories were about these 20 people that were sick, went to the doctor, got diagnosed. The German physician worked with them with homeopathics, and in less than a month, these people, their symptoms were gone. They had their health and their life back, and then they would come back in once a year for 5 years, just to make sure they didn't have any relapsing or any of that stuff. They never did. And at that point, I knew that was the direction I was going to have to take to get myself over this. I started a degree in natural health in about the year 2000 and finished it in 2003. And one of my electives in my coursework was homeopathy. And it was fascinating to me. And I just, grabbed hold of it, and I bought all the books I could find on it, research books, and started, learning about it and using it and practicing with it, and for friends and family. And it started off as colds, flus, shingles, stuff like that, more of the acute kind of thing. But it worked. One after another, it just worked and helped people out. So I got even more interested in it. And then once I found out that once I got this book and read about all these people that had their Lyme symptoms removed, they achieved Lyme freedom through homeopathics, then I knew that was the direction I needed to focus on. So I started treating myself, and it took about 2.5, 3 weeks it took me about 4 remedies and 4 medicines, and about 3 weeks, and it was over. I was free from Lyme, and so I just since then, and then I met the first person that had it and had been debilitated for 20 some years, and I worked with him, got him over Lyme disease, and he knew a whole bunch of people that also had it, and it's kind of snowballed, and I started working with all these people, and I had a lot of different homeopathic products related to Lyme, and not one of them by itself really got anybody over it, but I combined all four. I combined the best of the four, and it just works so well. It's amazing. It's synergistic in some way, and it just seems to work really well to eliminate the symptoms of Lyme disease. So what I do now is I work with about 2 clients a month, and I take them through the whole Lyme removal, and then there's usually other stuff that pops up because people are kind of like an onion. You peel a layer off, there's another one there. People will have 2 to 3. So I have to do some deeper homeopathic work for them. So what I'm looking for, I'll work with a couple people a month, and that's it. That's all I can do because it's so time and research intensive, communication intensive, that's all I can do to do justice to those two people. So what I'm looking for is other people out there in the world that are well versed in homeopathy as well, and I'll work with you. I'll get you set up on the protocol, and then once the people are through, it takes about 7 days normally for Lyme removal. Once they're through that, then you need to take them from there, do the additional homeopathic work to get them. Sometimes it's virus removal, sometimes it's constitutional layer removal, all the above, but I need people out there that are going to be doing that finish work. So if you're interested in that, either as a client or as a practitioner, and you want to know more about this, contact me, and I'll be glad to answer any questions you have and get you dialed in on this, and hopefully together we can help all those people out there that are suffering horribly from this scourge called Lyme disease. Thank you.